You're looking at your retirement savings statement, and that familiar knot of worry tightens in your stomach. You've worked hard, you've saved, but the question keeps coming back. Is this really enough? What if I run out? What if I become a burden on my children? If that thought has ever kept you up after Isha prayer, you're not alone. But what if the secret to a confident, peaceful retirement isn't just about saving more, but about wisely letting go? If you want to build true wealth the halal way and bring barakah into your finances, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Most of the advice you hear is about accumulation. Buy this investment, save that percentage. But after years of advising Muslim families, I've seen a deeper pattern. The most successful retirements aren't built just on what you acquire, but on what you strategically release. This is about more than money. It's about freeing up your energy, your time, and your peace of mind for the worship, family, and community of your later years. And it starts by looking at what you own through the lens of your new life, not your old one. The first and often most impactful thing to consider is your relationship with your family home. That beautiful house that echoed with the laughter of your children, that you worked so hard to pay off. It's a symbol of your success, your provision. But now, the rooms are empty. The maintenance is a constant, quiet drain, not just of money, but of your energy. The roof needs fixing, the garden needs tending, the utility bills for heating and cooling all that unused space are a monthly reminder. You're managing a property instead of managing your life. Islam teaches us the concept of qana, contentment with what is sufficient. Allah says in Surah Taha, verse 131, "And do not extend your eyes toward that by which we have given enjoyment. To some categories of them, it's being but the splendor of worldly life by which we test them." The test isn't just in acquiring, but in knowing when what we have exceeds what we need. That big house served a beautiful purpose for a season, but holding on to it out of sentiment or pride when it's draining the resources you need for your next season can be a form of israf, wastefulness. I've seen brothers and sisters sell that large family home, use the halal equity to buy a comfortable, manageable apartment closer to the masjid, and unlock tens of thousands in savings and a new sense of freedom. They stop being caretakers of bricks and mortar and become caretakers of their time for dhikr, for grandchildren, for the community. The second thing is perhaps the most emotionally difficult for us as Muslim parents. It's the automatic, open-ended financial support for our adult children. Our instinct is to give, to help, to ease their path. It comes from a place of deep love. But here is the painful reality many face. They are sacrificing their own financial security and their precious, limited years of healthy retirement to solve problems their adult children are capable of solving themselves. I've met parents who delayed retirement for years to cover a child's wedding costs or to make a down payment on a house for them. The Prophet, peace be unto him, taught us responsibility. In an authentic hadith, he said, "It is sufficient sin for a man that he neglects those whom he is responsible for. Who are you primarily responsible for in your 60s and beyond? It is yourself and your spouse, to ensure you do not become a needy burden on others or the community. Your adult child has decades of earning potential ahead. You have a finite number of years. There are halal loans and financing for homes and education. There is no loan for retirement. This isn't about withholding love. It's about understanding that sometimes the most loving thing is to let your children build their own financial resilience, their own tawakkul in Allah, while you secure the resources to remain independent, dignified, and able to give sadaqah freely from a place of strength, not scarcity. The third item is what I call the expensive hobbies of your past life. The boat you used to take out every weekend, the collection of classic cars, the RV for road trips. These were the rewards you gave yourself after decades of hard work. But in retirement, they often transform from sources of joy into sources of constant expense and silent stress. The storage fees, the insurance premiums, the maintenance costs, they chip away at your monthly retirement budget like a slow leak. You feel guilty for not using them, but you can't bear the thought of selling them because they feel like a part of who you were. The Prophet, peace be unto him, lived a life of remarkable simplicity, even when he could have had more. He warned against the love of this world. This isn't saying you can't have nice things. It's about asking a sincere question. Does this thing own a piece of my peace now? Or do I simply own it? I knew an uncle who had a beautiful motorcycle he loved. He sold his other two bikes, and the boat used that money to fully fund his Hajj trip with his wife and kept his one favorite motorcycle for occasional rides. He traded the burden of many possessions for the barakah of an ibadah and the pure enjoyment of one. He experienced the truth that letting go of some things allows you to truly appreciate what remains. The fourth is simpler, but just as powerful: the second car. When you and your spouse are no longer commuting to work every day, do you really need two vehicles sitting idle, depreciating, and costing you in insurance, registration, and upkeep? It's a default, a habit from a busier life. Try a practical experiment for 1 month. Park one car and live with just one. See what happens. You'll likely find you coordinate easily. The money saved from insurance and maintenance alone could fund a weekend getaway or add to your Sadaqah fund. It's a small step in practicing simplicity, in aligning your possessions with your actual needs, not your past routines. The fifth and most important thing you need to sell isn't a physical object at all. It's your attachment to your professional identity. For 30 or 40 years, you were the engineer, the doctor, the business owner. That title commanded respect and defined your days. In retirement, you might feel a sudden emptiness. Who am I if I'm not that? This is where Ardeen offers profound clarity. Your worth was never in your job title. It is in your taqwa, your character, your status as a servant of Allah. The Prophet, peace be unto him, said in Sahih Muslim, "The son of Adam will die, but his deeds will remain." Retirement is not the end of productivity. It's the transition to a different kind of productivity. It's your chance to become the full-time student of the Quran you want it to be, the mentor to young Muslims in your community, the devoted grandparent, the one who has time for the optional prayers and the night vigil. Clinging to the identity of the busy professional prevents you from embracing the identity of the devoted abd of Allah. Sell that old identity. Let it go. The return on that transaction is a peace and purpose that no salary could ever match. So how do you make these decisions without regret? Use a simple filter rooted in our faith. First, ask, does this serve the life I am building for the sake of Allah in my later years? Or is it a monument to the life I have already lived? Second, calculate the true cost, not just in money, but in your time, your mental space, and the opportunity to use those resources for halal growth or good deeds. Third, and most importantly, ask, if I let this go, what ibadah, what family time, what community service, what peace becomes possible? Imagine the funds from a sold possession being transformed into a recurring charity, a source of ongoing sadaqah jariyah. That shift in perspective changes everything. Retirement, from an Islamic viewpoint, is a precious amana, a trust. It's your final stretch to gather good deeds, to seek forgiveness, to leave a righteous legacy. The goal isn't to have the most, but to have exactly what you need to worship your Lord in contentment and dignity. Don't let the possessions and obligations of your past life burden the sacred potential of your present. Simplify, let go, and make space for the barakah that awaits. Next, I am explaining the one halal investment most retirees overlook that can provide a steady, ethical income stream for the rest of your life, without any doubt about its permissibility. You don't want to miss that clarity.